All right,
So
let's go for it.
without further ado,
I
so
know.
part of this is if you think about like the stages of business. So some of us are really good at certain stages and other stages that may not be our specialty or where we're amazing. And that's where building tools is really helpful. So you can see over here on the left-hand side, see if I can zoom in. Um, we have these different sections, and you can kind of think of about the phases of business. So first, it's creating your desired brand, and that starts with who's your dream client? Who would you love to serve? Who would you love talking to? Who would you love to have wear your pieces? Who do you want to interact with? So there's an assistant that you see it just pops up over here, and it starts to help you define who your dream client is right here in the center. Now, this is all you can move everything around um, to make more room. Some of our early beta testers, for example, they were like, oh, it'd be really, where do we save this stuff? How do we save it? And they were having to go back and forth between Google Docs and everything else. And I was like, okay, this is crazy. Why don't we just have a document editor, for example, right in the side where you can put your stuff. So it's like, this might be a little slow because we're still doing the development stuff. But it'll help you define who your dream client is in terms of all the things that matter to marketing and to appealing to them. So demographics, psychographics, kind of all the key information. So it's pulled up what we have so you can see the demographics, late 20s to 50s, gender, income, location, everything else. And if you've used ChatGPT, it's a real pain to like, okay, let me copy and paste this. I don't want to lose it, anything else. Well, you just click save to doc, and now it's in your document over here on the side. And let's say you want to edit it. Well, you can come over here to the editor and you can edit it. And you can, hopefully this feature works. It's a little frozen up on the screen share, but you can rename the document, and then maybe you want to keep track of it, right? So you can create folders, and you can come in, you can rename your folders. So, that would be your dream client folder, for example. And you just
Does
drag that in
everyone
there.
see a screen share or just I see a screen share? If you're not seeing the screen share, Melissa, you might have to toggle to Zoom.
Yeah. So we're still working out a few bugs here, but like then you can drag and drop it into folders and keep everything organized. And let's say that you want to export it, right? You can send it to a PDF, to Word, to something called Markdown, and then Google Drive, Google Docs works. It works for me. We just have to get the application approved with Google, which we're in the process of doing. Um, and then you can edit any of these things. So you could say, can you adjust, the age from 20s to 30s to 50s? So this is your dream client. Well, the next thing is, okay, well, how do I talk to my dream client in a way that is going to resonate with them, that is going to move them emotionally, that is going to make them um, excited, and that's going to create desire and demand, right? Because we like to pretend that we're logical. We walk around and we pretend we're logical, but the reality is we're emotional creatures. We're driven by emotions, and then we just justify everything logically. So the fine art of persuasion and talking to people in a way that helps them see a vision of themselves wearing your pieces, for example, is very important. Um, and like I said, the cool thing about this is you can do this for each of your brands and it will keep them separate. Um,
So if you have the you don't need to have separate brands if it's all under the same company. But if let's say for me, it's important because I have my personal brand stuff. Like I want to do messaging around Desire AI. I want to do messaging around different types of jewelry brands. So I'm going to build out a brand for each type of like potential mock-up brand that we might have in different price points and stuff like that. Um, so, and then we had someone else say, "Oh, does it? I have a clothing brand and a jewelry brand. Can you do both?" And before we had limitations with ChatGPT, so you can add multiple brands. Do you want to show them on the back end how to do that, babe?
Yeah, real quick. Let me kind of
Yeah. Oh,
finish this
sorry,
so
didn't mean to
so
interrupt
we
you.
don't jump
Sorry.
around. So the next thing would be like, okay, well, what am I going to sell to them now that I know who they are? Now that I know how to talk to them, what am I going to sell to them, and how am I going to arrange it in a way that makes sense to people? Because people need things that are like coherent, and a lot of people need help with their collections and how to create different parts of their collection, the accessible pieces in their collection, the statement pieces, and the different parts. So this GPT right here, the collections, is specifically designed just to help you with that. So a way to think about this a little bit differently from regular ChatGPT is ChatGPT is a generalist. It'll help you in general with all kinds of things, and it's okay at all kinds of things. These things are experts in these very specific parts of each part of the business. So, you know, like a chief marketing officer might cost you $220,000 a year before bonuses. Um, and we're just building them basically. So the next part is, okay, you have all of that. Then what's next? Well, how do I create social media content for this? How do I actually get stuff out in front of people? And it goes through and it helps you with proven frameworks for social media. Because a lot of it is like, well, what do I say? I don't know what to say. And it'll help you with all of this. Um, the next part is a lot of times you have a lot on your plate and you're not sure what you're going to do. So, and what to prioritize. So this helps you to brain dump. You come in, you do a brain dump, and you can just talk to it and say, here are all the things on my mind, right? I need to do a doctor's appointment. I've got to drop my daughter off at school and get a birthday gift for my son. And but I also need to launch this collection. And you just brain dump it, and it helps you organize all of it and it helps you prioritize it. And then it helps you turn it into tasks. So I'll show you that in just a little bit. Um, and then you need to launch your collections. So now this is probably a little bit. So this is where we're having a discussion. We're saying, here's what we're working on. We want to launch it. And it's like, okay, great. Let's create a launch plan for this specific collection. And given your timeline, if you want to launch, let's say by February 1st, here are all the things you need to do to pull off a launch based on the 9,000 students that Tracy has helped to do their launches. And it'll create a launch plan um, with steps and all the social media content you need. Let me see if I can scroll down without making you. Yeah, so like here's a more detailed version, right? So here's your detailed content calendar, social media content, the email from a higher level, and then down below it goes more in depth. And then another thing where people really get tripped up in business is mindset and kind of needing business coaching. So I do this professionally with, executives and CEOs and doctors, and I'm building in a lot of the things that I do with them into here to help you get past your blind spots and to help you overcome some of the things that will slow you down. So for example, a lot of us are perfectionists, right? Some of us are people pleasers. And those things really impact how we're able to show up and what we're able to do. And I have a lot of, because of the caliber of people that I'm helping, I've had to develop very good tools to help them get past those things. So this one you're looking at is the business coach, but I'm building in the mindset coach to help with this and to give you an idea of the kind of the value you might consider. I charge anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 per month for people to work with me one-on-one at that level. And I'm building a lot of the tools in that I use with them into this application.
Jason is the most amazing coach, you guys. He used to coach in our momentum program, and like he would be on the call with like people for hours.
Yeah.
And he's basically going to teach the coach how to coach you like him.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Uh,
pretty good. He's like world class.
yeah. There's also a dark mode, which I'm working on. I'm not totally in love with it yet, what it looks like aesthetically,
Brown.
but
My favorite color. No, I was kidding.
yeah, I mean, I'm working on it. But the other cool thing is, so like if we go into settings, you saw this earlier. Up here, you have brand profile, your collections, your pieces, your materials, and Shopify import. That's the thing I surprised Tracy with.
Wait, can you show them that? I like literally started crying. He's like, scroll down to the bottom. So I don't know if it's active yet, but one thing um, that a lot of people, I feel like is a redundant task that people have is to upload all your product descriptions and measurements to Shopify. It takes a long time. So Jason figured out, because he's so smart, how do I like organize my brain in a way so that I can, or how do we can organize this so that it's like my brain and we could just upload it all to Shopify. So he's created a system on
Yeah,
how to
so
do
this is to
it.
actually download it from Shopify. The one that's coming is to upload it to Shopify. But so a lot of our designers
Oh,
have,
Shop, you can download the import. Okay, tell
yeah,
us.
so a lot of our designers, you can imagine, right? This is an amazing app, but it's for me the thought of like, oh, I have all my pieces, all my collections, all my materials,
Oh my gosh.
all my variants on Shopify. I don't want to enter them all again. Like that's super painful. And I hate like redundant stuff like that. So um, y- what you do is you just export, you do a CSV export, and it talks you through how to do that. And then you upload it, and it'll mat our fields are matching and everything, so it'll import your pieces into the application. Um, so this is all so like for this is for one brand profile. If I were to switch it, see how it changes. So these are all very, specific brand profiles, and you can have a default brand profile. And the front end of the application, like the Dream Client portion, will walk you through defining this, and it'll save that information here if you don't already have it. But sometimes it's nice to come in and be able to make some edits or some changes. So you can come in and do that. You can change the voice and tone. So you can see like preferred words, words to avoid, all the things that Tracy was talking about that you would normally have to do manually, um, are all just programmed in. And then she's still working on this brand, but you can put in writing samples, testimonials, how you like to sign off your emails, like Tracy always does. XO
Hmm.
Tracy.
Angelica is her name.
Oh, Angelica. Okay.
Don't say that.
All right. All right. All right. Pseudonym. So, you can save all that to your to the profile. And then let's see, I'm gonna have to refresh real quick. Like I said, I'm still working out a few bugs before we release it
Yeah, we're
later.
not ready to like give you guys access to this yet because there's a couple of things we still have to test first. But we really wanted to give you a demo here to show you what it's going to be like.
Yeah. So then here are the collections that are related to your brands. For example, and we're also using this for marketing, so you can see some of the stuff that's related to Flourish and Thrive. But you come in and you have your collections. And again, you'd have all the information about your collections, and you'd have pieces in your collection. And so you can come in and you can create a new piece, or you can import it from Shopify, right? But it has all the information, pricing information, inventory, details, the materials used, for example, um, links to your images, tags, SEO stuff, e-commerce stuff like your Shopify product ID or your Etsy listing ID. And on Etsy, they want to know, did you make it? Did somebody from your Shopper Collected make it, or did another company make it? So you can enter all that stuff. And then there are materials. So let's say you're um, maybe platinum is one of your materials and it's metal, but maybe it has a certain symbolism to you, right? Like, what does platinum mean to you? And what are the emotional benefits of it and wearing it? And, what are the astrological associations that you might have to certain stones or to certain things? You can put in your supporting stories. Also, for a lot of you, origin and sourcing, like where you're getting stuff from is very important. So being able to add that here, right? We use ethical sourcing, for example. And then you can list where you use those things. And then what happens with all of this is, let's say you're doing social media content. Well, you can tell it, hey, can we do some social media content around this collection or around these pieces? And it's going to pull on all of this information and use that to help create your social media content. So if it's ethically sourced, you can say, hey, can you mention, our sourcing, and it'll reference all of this and put all of that in. So what you're getting is, instead of like this very general thing that you get with ChatGPT, you're getting something that's very highly trained on how you talk, what's important to you, what's important to your dream client, um, how it all works, and how to put it all together. So this makes creating emails, creating social media content, creating product descriptions so much easier. And all of the assistants that you saw earlier in the front end are integrated with the things I just showed you here. Oh, so it's going to it goes back and forth, right? You could say like, hey, let's create a new collection, or let's create a new piece. And it'll say, okay, great. Which collection do you want to save this piece to? And it'll enter all the information in the back.
Jason, I have a question for you.
Yep.
Can you upload it? Because we're on the Flourish and Thrive one now, but can you upload it to like the CSV file into the chat and that will upload your collections to Desire AI? Or would you have to do it kind of one
Um,
by one?
Not yet. That functionality is not enabled yet, but
It was coming.
yeah, it's coming. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I just have to turn it on to where it can process files.
Oh,
But then
this
we
is the
have
new thing.
but
I
then
didn't
we
see
have
this.
this is brand new. This is, we have planning and launch tracking. So you can have launch plans, and then you can have with milestones and everything else, and then you can have the tasks that you came up with during your brainstorming and your planning stuff. So this one's still early. I developed it last night at about 2 a.m.
You're so insane. He was up all night, I will tell you that.